back for another episode of The Only Playbook. Week 7 is officially over. Some teams' playoffs chances are over. Some teams' playoff chances look like they've blossomed like spring. So it's a very pivotal week in the NFL season. Again, we're The Only Playbook. I'm Sweetcar. Shote joined us. Thank God you joined us.
Last minute.
Lot of up and down emotions there towards the end of all day today. Not knowing if you're going to come or not, but I'm glad you're here, Doc. And we got Shovit as always. Tuesday, football's over. You guys had pretty busy weekends. How were they?
It was great. Went to Formula One racing for the first time. I've never even watched a Formula One race. There was a shit ton of people there.
Dude, what's so weird is I had multiple people on my social media that didn't know each other all there. Like, you guys were there.
I was just telling him that same thing.
Random people were there.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was such a big sport, to be honest.
Are we all just freaking living under a rock?
Have you guys seen Ford versus Ferrari?
No, I never watched it.
Is that Formula One?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. No, I thought that was NASCAR, isn't it?
I don't know.
But anyways, no, it is crazy because I saw a lot of people there so confused as to how and when F1 got so big, and I just missed out on the train or something. But what about you? You were freaking Florida.
Yeah, it was weird. It was also ups and downs. A lot of the plans got canceled because of the rain and stuff. But, got some things done. We can talk about it after the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Glad we're all here again. Episode 14, guys. So 14 episodes in already. Hell yeah. Wouldn't be here without all the support we've gotten from social media, guys. The Only Playbook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, every podcast app that you can think of, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor. Thanks so much for the love, the support, the listens, the likes, the subscribes, the comments, everything. It's been awesome, and we've just kind of been here for the ride, and it's only going to get better, I hope.
Yeah, it will. Today, so like this weekend, I met probably around 50 to 60 new people, and I just blabbered away about the podcast to everybody. I was setting up people's DFS lineups. A lot of Miles Sanders in those lineups. So don't hate me, guys.
Dude, I did get a lot of notifications on our Instagram with new follows, and I was like, I bet these guys. And the only mutual follower was you. So I was like, these are all guys that saw such a meeting on this trip.
And it was at 2 a.m.
Yeah, probably. It was at random times. I was like, drunk conversations about fantasy football. Freaking love it. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Help spread the word. So anybody that watches, guys, subscribe, like, comment, spread the word. Anybody that likes football, I have a really good feeling they're going to enjoy our podcast. So certainly appreciate it, encourage it. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes, as we call it. First things first, again, another week goes by, more guys go down, injuries. Dr. Oja, enlighten us on kind of what we have today.
Man, we got some big names out this week. It's never a good thing to see injuries, but it's kind of nice to see COVID people when you're playing against them on Thursday night. So Davante Adams on the COVID list. I'm playing against one of the craziest trio of receivers we've ever seen in fantasy football history. The Sean's team with Davante Adams and Hopkins.
Hopkins, who's his third guy?
I think it's Cooper, but he's kind of died off.
Yeah, Amari Cooper's died off.
But yeah, your receivers are way better.
I was literally going to say that, but I'm glad you brought it up before me.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah, Davante Adams on the COVID list, uncertain for TNF. He can still play if somehow.
2 negatives between now, which is Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
That's cutting it close.
I know. So I hope he doesn't, but it's not completely ruled out. MVS should be activated off the IR. He's going to play. Not that he can fill in for Davante Adams, but he's always been his number one deep weapon. Mm-hmm. So the deep bombs, desperate situations are back with MVS. The drops are going to be back too. But
Allen Lazard is also out.
Right. Allen Lazard is out. So I was talking to a bunch of people today in my group chats. I was like, oh, you got to look at Lazard. Look at these statistics. I was throwing him stats from here and there, and all of a sudden I get this notification. Lazard is also COVID. So he's definitely not going to play. It's too late for that one. So, I don't know what they're going to do.
Dude.
Cobb Day, I don't know. Cobb can even last that long. I don't know.
That bodes so well for us as Vikings fans rooting against the Packers because not only are they playing the Cardinals, but now their receiving corps is just decimated.
Right. So we'll see.
One thing I was going to mention about Allen Lazard, did you guys know he's 6'5"?
Yeah, he's tall.
He's humongous.
Yeah. Wow.
Why is he not getting utilized more in jump ball situations in the end zone?
Davante Adams.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
shut myself up there. But dude, I don't know why 6'5" just kind of threw me off.
Maybe he just doesn't know the playbook. Sony Michel and Allen Lazard have been hanging out, I guess.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He's back. He scored a touchdown last week, so they're using him more. He was also injured a lot last year.
Yeah.
So maybe they just weren't using him very much, but he's back. And next up on the injury list, probably doesn't help anyone, but it just helps football fans. Zach Wilson. It says everywhere it says sprained PCL.
Mhm.
That's a weird thing to say because you can't really like sprain a PCL. You can sprain a joint,
Mhm.
but you can't sprain the actual ligament. Like you can like tear it, you can like stretch it, but you can't
You could
sprain
probably,
it.
could you strain a ligament versus
Yeah.
sprain?
Yeah.
Right, that would probably make
Yeah,
better sense.
that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
But yeah, like people like Stefania Bell on ESPN, I was like, aren't you like a licensed physical therapist? You're not supposed to be saying stuff like that. But anyways, he's out. Who knows? Who knows how long? Because if it's torn, he's not going to be coming back. If he's just, actually just strained it a little bit, he could be back. But at this point, that's your future.
Yep.
Like I don't anticipate him coming back anytime soon. Anyways, Josh Jacobs left the last game with chest contusion. Chest contusions, when you have really huge pecs.
Are his pecs too big?
Yeah, they probably, for your sake,
Yeah.
being a Josh Jacobs
God
owner, you
damn
better
it,
hope
bro.
they're too big because chest contusions, for people like me with no pecs, if I get a chest contusion, I'm getting my ribs broken too. The damage, it won't just contuse the chest, it'll hurt some ribs. But people like Josh Jacobs with huge pecs, it probably just got bruised. He should be fine. I anticipate him being fine. If there's any news about x-rays coming back negative, positive, we'll let you know, but they haven't told us anything yet. Jarvis Landry, that knee injury on like the last few plays of the game, if not the last play of
Yeah, it
that
was
game.
literally horrible.
Yeah, he didn't practice yesterday. I don't know about today. I didn't get any information about him today, so we'll keep you updated. But Nick Chubb is back at practice. Not sure how they're going to utilize him because Dearness Johnson was looking fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
He looked like an all-pro out there.
Yep.
So they might not have to use Chubb as much. We'll see. If they're smart, they wouldn't use Chubb as much.
Yeah.
But Chubb
Sucks
is
for fantasy owners.
Yeah, sucks for Chubb fantasy owners. But hey, get in line. This is
Yeah.
that time of the year where your players are going to be injured and you're going to have to know what to do with them.
Yep.
Malcolm Brown to land on the IR. That doesn't really matter for anybody, but that may matter for Gaskin owners. I feel like Salvon Ahmed is going to come do some vulturing here.
Yeah.
But Gaskin's targets should increase. His touches should increase. And he's one of those dynamic players, kind of like Miles Sanders,
Yep.
where they're not the greatest, but if they get enough volume, they have that ability to hit home runs.
Yep.
So look out for things like that. It is Tuesday, so we're not going to go in super deep into injuries. That's more for our Thursday episode this week. So stay tuned. Check our Twitters. We've been posting some stuff about the injury updates and stuff. So yeah, look for that. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those are the money days for injuries.
Yep. Notifications on @OnlyPlaybook on Twitter. All the injury updates there, getting you ready for this weekend. So before we kick it off to the recap of the games, let me just say this week's games were like sloppy.
Yeah.
There were a lot of lopsided games.
Dude, the second half of the games
Yeah.
was trash.
What was going on? I was like, man, this must have been this. We picked a good week to not all be together, watch football, because some of this action is dull as shit.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, a lot of implications. People still won their fantasy leagues. Congrats to Shot. You beat Shovit. I lost. I've lost like 2 in a row now. I think you have as well. So fucking, I don't know what's happening to us, but luckily there's like a big meat pile of 3 and 4 and 4 and 3 people.
Yeah, and then it's a lot of bye weeks. There's gonna be bye week hell until week 14 now.
Yep.
So don't expect those standings to stay like that for very long.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the first game. On the board, this was what was going on Thursday night live while we were recording the last episode. The Broncos and the Browns were playing in Cleveland. Browns take this one 17-14. Close affair. They do cover the spread, -1.5. The under comes in at 41. The story of this show was one guy and one guy only. You just talked about him, Ernest freaking Johnson.
Yeah,
Right.
I was panicking during that show while watching that game because Shovit had him, right? And he got really good numbers, 24, 23.
Yeah,
something like that.
22 carries, 146 yards, and a touchdown.
Jeez.
Solid performance. And not only were the holes there for him to kind of get those yards, he looked good.
Yeah.
He was breaking. He was like maneuvering.
Right.
And so he looked good as a running back. So, I wonder if they're going to utilize him more like a Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb kind of role if Nick Chubb comes back. Wonder if that's going to be like a 1-2 thing.
Possibly, possibly. But the thing with Hunt is he's a really good pass catcher, and I don't see Ernest Johnson being that guy.
He's more like the Nick Chubb.
He's very similar to Chubb in
now
play
they
style.
have 2 Nick Chubbs. I'm looking at his highlights right now. I'm actually watching those highlights, and sometimes he looks better than Nick Chubb.
Dude, his
I don't
cuts
wanna
were
hype it up.
insane.
Look at this. I'm not like I don't know, but anyways, there are plenty There's some teams that are decimated in running backs. The Browns have an ample amount of those guys. They're not too stressed out. They're going to be using the same philosophy. I was worried that you couldn't start some of these guys because they have to change their game up. Mm-hmm. But this is the same game plan they've had all year with shitty wide receivers and just strong running backs. It looks like they're going to continue to play with this strategy, and it's working.
So last week, during the preview, I had the Broncos winning this game, and I was like, there's injuries for the Browns. There's
left tackles. Both the tackles were out.
Both tackles are out.
How the fuck?
And the Broncos should be able to stop the Cleveland Browns.
Third string running back.
Right.
With backup tackles.
Right. So
backup quarterback.
And Von Miller, who said he was going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Where's
All talk.
Yeah. He apologized after the game, and I think he was more embarrassed about what he said than actually the losing part.
Yeah.
Because he didn't kill anybody. I don't even think he got anything. He didn't do anything.
No, Browns exactly played. That's what you're saying is they were decimated, and it was like, all right, second, third stringers come right in, but play the same exact brand of Browns football.
Right.
12 of 23 first downs were rushing, 9 of 15 on third downs, 182 total rushing yards. Time of possession favored them 37 minutes to 23. Browns 0 turnovers. Literally, how are you going to win? How are you going to lose? Control the clock, run the ball, don't turn the ball over, be efficient on third downs.
Right.
So exact same recipe to succeed is exactly what they did, regardless of it being Case Keenum, Dearness Johnson, backup tackles. But took care of business. Broncos, we've said it from week 1. Favorable schedule early, looked good, but they are the definition of fake news. Teddy's clearly not the quarterback of the future. I think we all knew that. Drew Lock, obviously, they've determined is not as well, too erratic. So that's what they need.
Yeah, they need Deshaun Watson. That's what they need.
They do need Deshaun Watson. I know the rumors continue to swirl with a lot of these teams looking even worse this week, and so more names and teams have come into the picture for the sweepstakes of Deshaun Watson, and you got to figure the Broncos are one of them. They have to be. But the only problem with the whole Deshaun Watson scenario is the asking price should be going down, right? So teams that are looking to trade for him should be in a favorable situation, because what's the guarantee that you trade for him and he's even he can play?
Right.
Couldn't he go to jail? They still haven't figured out all of this, right?
Yeah.
So there's still so much risk in giving up draft capital for a guy who could never see the field.
So from what I understand, I'm not sure if it's a criminal case.
It's a felony.
I thought it was a civil lawsuit and not a criminal law. So it's all about the money. And actually, it's one of those things where it's not a criminal case, a civil case, so he may not go to jail. He might but I'm not sure what the NFL's ramifications, which way it goes. So you're right. There's a lot of questions on the legal side of things and knowing the playbook.
You gotta imagine that the teams, if they're aggressive in trading for him, they have to know something that maybe the public doesn't. Like you mentioned, maybe this is gonna lengthen to such a time where he's going to be in limbo, so while he's in limbo, he can actually play. Similar to other people that have gone through court cases but make games and play and shit. So I don't know I don't know how risky it is to trade for him, because again, you're trading for a guy that is going through so much, has a ton of baggage, and we don't know how that story is going to end. So yes, if you get Deshaun Watson and he's able to play on the field, your team dramatically improves.
Yeah, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, and so. Again, I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks. You got to figure for the Broncos, you got to take a chance at this point because your team sucks.
Yeah.
Your quarterback's not there. Neither of your quarterbacks are getting the job done. So, I don't know. But the Broncos are now 3-4. At least they get a favorable game next week against the football team. They'll be at home against the football team. The Browns going to have a tough divisional matchup against your Steelers, Shovit. They're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh there. So, that should be a good matchup. Yeah. But the next game on the board, the other team in your division, now leading the division, the Cincinnati Bengals are the real fucking deal. They were at the Baltimore Ravens this week, at the Ravens, and they dominated. Statement win 41-17. 6.5 point dogs winning outright on the money line, plus 230, man. Whoever took Bengals money line, congrats to you. The over got shattered, 46.5, and the Bengals almost put that up by themselves. Man, holy shit.
The Bengals almost put that up amongst just Chase and Burrow.
Dude.
That duo is ridiculous. That connection. Who's laughing now?
Nobody.
Are the people that
everybody else?
Are the people that were saying, "Oh, you should get your offensive lineman. Don't get Chase."
I was saying that. Lineman,
right? And now who's laughing? Look, that chemistry is insane.
Yeah.
And there's no limitations on Chase's game, and this is only his 7th game,
dude.
Oh my god!
On the field, already looks like top 5 receiver in the league, and that's terrifying.
Right.
He's fast as shit. pretty much doesn't drop passes. The preseason was clearly a fluke.
Right. Catch deep bombs.
Catches deep bombs.
Runs
can
down
jump
the middle.
over you. Runs down the middle. There's nothing the dude can't do.
I know, and it's crazy. Like, I'll go on air and say I traded this guy for Kittle.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Shit, I totally forgot about that too.
I actually gave away Chase. I gave away Mitchell to Kittle. I was like, okay, he had a couple of good games, but I didn't see this in a consistent performance from Burrow to Chase like this.
Right.
And
I mean, they had 2 other wide receivers, right?
Right.
Who would have thought they would have just ignored everybody else and just played college football?
It's amazing. And the Bengals were one of those teams that were being disrespected, right? Like
I was one of them that were disrespecting them.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, and it's also a factor of the Ravens were coming off of a 2 big wins.
Yep.
Right. They had beat the Colts. They beat the Chargers. A lot of
destroyed the Chargers. Like a statement win.
Right. The statement win destroyed the Chargers. But you're coming off and week by week on NFL, like on a weekly basis, it's tough to kind of maintain that.
Yeah.
And it's also tough when you don't get help from your running game. Also.
Nope.
Right. Latavius Murray, Freeman.
So Freeman got the start, right?
Yeah, and Bell. Well,
Bell and Freeman.
Yeah, Bell and Freeman had a total of 29 yards. And so you
Bell actually got on the field first.
Oh, okay.
But Freeman was dominating the early carries.
Yeah.
And then Freeman ended up rolling into the end zone.
Yep,
But after that,
touchdown.
I think Bell was utilized until the last drive when there was checking down to Freeman the whole time.
Right. So outside of Lamar Jackson, I'm running the ball. There's not anything that you can help
No.
that you help Lamar Jackson. He's scrambling, trying to make things happen, and it just wasn't working out for him. I want to point out that I actually found this out later when I was looking at this game and like the recap, and it was National Tight End Day in the NFL, which is every 4th October of 4th Sunday of October.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Every year, the 4th Sunday of October.
Yeah. Okay. Is National Tight End Day, and CJ Uzomah with the 2 touchdowns.
Classic.
3 catches, 2 touchdowns. But I mean, 91 yards, right? It's not like 3 catches, 10 yards, 2 touchdowns, but
he had to break a tackle on both those plays. But yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked. Like, shock's not the word I would use. Like, if he got 11 catches and he had like 2 touchdowns, then I'd be shocked. But like watching this game, I was like, oh, that safety could have tackled him, missed a tackle. Yeah. But yeah, that's congratulations on National
Tight End Day, getting 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Like, well done. There's some other tight ends that did good this year, this week.
It's a big tight end week.
So yeah, big tight end week on National Tight End Day.
One fun fact I feel like nobody knows: the Bengals are actually 54-5-2 when scoring over 25 points since 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Bengals.
Who
would have thought?
Well, I mean, it makes sense because they've been so bad during that time, right?
Yeah.
And so how many games is that? Like 60 total games in which they scored over that points because that's
25
total records. And that's in 20 years. So how many games did they actually only put up 25 points, which means any game they score that much, they actually win. But what's their overall losses over that time? Probably a shit ton, right?
Oh, yeah. But it's just surprising to me that their defense, actually stopped people during that time.
Yeah, I know.
Like, their record is 54-5.
Yeah.
Forget the 2 ties.
Yeah.
54-5. Even if you're a shitty team, when you score 25 points, you still expect to lose.
Yep.
But their record when you score over 25,
that is insane.
It's kind of ridiculous.
That winning percentage is insane. You mentioned it though. Ravens really out of sync, right? No running game. Lamar was sacked 5 times. They were 1-4 on 4th down. So obviously crucial down where you have to get the first down. And the yards per play, like they couldn't find very many throws downfield. All of a sudden the Bengals defense just came to play. Average yards per play 5.5 for them. The Bengals 8.3, right? And you talked about it. Jamar Chase, dude, 8 catches, 201 yards, and that slant play made like 4 guys miss, and then just turned on the burners, and you could see how fucking fast he was. And the other thing is, he wasn't getting guarded by some scrub. Marlon Humphreys is a good defensive back.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's maybe slightly past his prime, but he's still like considered a good overall defensive back. And Jamar Chase made him look like a fucking ragdoll.
Yeah,
he's got it all. He can catch the ball, he can route run, and he's fast.
Yeah,
well,
dude, I don't know, it's scary.
I think Bengals are doing great, right? I think we need to finally see this expose that's going on for the Ravens. Like, we know they don't have good receivers, right?
Yep.
And this was a game where they needed those receivers to claw them back into contention, and they couldn't because it was still Lamar Jackson scrambling in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
You got at this point you need over 20 points, and this is not a team this is a team that can come from behind against a team like the Colts, who are, scrubs within themselves. They're not the best. I'm not afraid of the Colts coming down in the field and scoring 40 points on me.
Right.
But what looks like, the Ravens, who I anticipated to fully win this game at home against the Bengals, can't even score more than 17 points. Like, their offense is an issue. And teams that are going to score points, they're going to beat the Bengals. I mean, they're going to beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens are going to pound and grind against these weaker teams, but it looks like when there's a offensive juggernaut on the other side, can Lamar Jackson throw the ball downfield and keep him in games?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, we've talked about Hollywood Brown. He lacks the catching ability, the size to be a true number one, right? He can take the top off because he's fast, but we've seen him drop so many wide open catches.
Yeah, I mean, he got 14 targets,
Yeah.
right? He caught 5 of them.
Yeah.
And I will guarantee you not all of those are Lamar Jackson's fault.
No.
Right? So this guy, he's a great number 2. He's a great number 2, and Rashad Bateman's still too young to get 14 targets a game.
Yep.
And Mark Andrews was there, but he got shut down.
Dude.
So, like a good team will find ways to win, and this team just crumbled under pressure like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah, tough game for them. Hopefully they can bounce back. They have a bye week, so they go in the bye week, regroup, come out
that's
strong.
a good one for them.
Bengals going to build momentum. They're at the Jets next week, so expect them to go 6-2 there.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, that division is freaking good. Are you worried, Shovit, as a Steelers fan?
As worried for the Steelers?
Yeah.
Because of the Bengals?
Just the division is so strong now with the
it's
Bengals.
Tough. Yeah, you got the Bengals who are good. You got Ravens that, are streaky at times. You got the Browns who find ways to win the game.
Yep.
It's definitely a tough division, and we've got tough matchups too. So, but the thing is, I don't know that the AFC is that strong. So we could still kind of squeeze in with this new format of
extra playoff spot.
So we could squeeze in, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best divisions in football right now.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
So again, great matchup. Bengals going to pick up some more steam at the Jets next week. The Washington football team traveled to Lambeau to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Packers win this easily, 24-10. They're now 6-1, just sitting pretty atop the NFC North. Washington football team drops to 2-5 now. Packers cover the 7.5 point spread, and the under comes in at 48.5. This game was such a weird game to watch because you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers on the Packers side of the field. It literally looked like he was like in practice or in his backyard, just playing very relaxed, no sweat. And then you have a guy like Taylor Heineke running for his life, doing everything he possibly can to make like one completion. The Packers literally looked like they weren't trying. The Washington football team looked like they were trying as hard as they possibly can, and they still lost by 14 points.
Dude, you know why they lost, right?
Yeah.
So I actually had the Packers defense playing this week, and I was sweating balls because the Redskins found a way to get inside the red zone almost every single drive.
Possession, yeah.
And they would find ways to just not score. And it wasn't even so much that the Packers were playing good defense. They weren't. Honestly, they weren't. No. Heineke had, what was Heineke's stats outside of touchdowns? He went 25 for 37, 268 yards, 1 pick, but that was later. And then rushing, Heineke had 95 yards rushing. Yep. Antonio Gibson had 51 on 14 carries, but at this point, that's kind of expected from him. And they were, Ricky Seals-Jones had one of his best days so far without a touchdown, but he had a good day. Terry McLaurin had 122 yards and a touchdown. That does not look like the stats of a team that got beat up 24-10.
Yeah.
But the fact,
430 yards is what that all equates to. Right. And but they still weren't able to
10 points? Yeah, that's, I'm happy because my defense gave me 10 points because they didn't allow those scores. But at the end of the day, you feel bad for teams like Washington because of how hard they played. Yeah. I don't think they could have played better. So it was like...
It was literally just execution in the red zone. Washington 1 of 4 on 4th downs, right? Packers had huge stops in the red zone. 4th and goal at the 1, stopped. 4th and 2 at the 3, stopped. 3rd and 8 at the 12, interception. So, like you said, it was a bend don't break attitude, but it was almost a lot of it was self-induced. Like the one touchdown that should have happened was when Heineke scrambled. Nobody in front of him, right? And he just does like a roll tumble in. Yeah. But now with replays and slowing things down, you saw that his shin barely went down and he was at the inch-yard line.
He slid, right?
Yeah, there was nobody there. Nobody touched him. He just kind of gave himself up.
I actually don't get that call because he didn't technically give himself up. He thought he was in the end zone. Right, so that kind of irked me, but I wasn't complaining because I had the Packers defense.
Yeah, it was a very subjective, because you could have easily taken that as he just rolled into the end zone.
That's what it should have been called. Because when receivers catch the ball and they fall, the play doesn't end where the knee hit the ground when they fell. The play ends when someone touches them.
It's the give and take of this new NFL where they literally protect quarterbacks out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Specifically quarterbacks, right? You literally imagine he did actually intend to give himself up and you don't think that, and then a guy just comes and rams him in the head,
right?
Which is what people will do when you don't give yourself up on the ground.
Right.
But yeah, that was so ridiculous because at that point, man, I'm just like, dude, they're trying their ass off. Give him a fucking touchdown, bro. Like, they're not going to win, but he ran that in. That's a touchdown. That was almost like, semantics with the whole Dez caught it where you're like looking at 17 replays to like make a weird call. I'm like, dude, that's a touchdown. Like, just give it to him. But I mean, it sucks. There's not a lot good going for the football team right now. Now they're 2-5. They're going to travel to Denver next week to take on the Broncos again, who are, they're not good, but at that point, like, who's Washington football team going to play where you're like, oh, they might win this game? The Jets, maybe? Like,
yeah, that's it.
And it's tough. It's tough for them right now. The Packers, we talked about it, Thursday Night Football, probably one of the best Thursday Night Football games we've had year to date, at least on paper.
Yeah.
Packers are going to be at the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Receivers decimated with COVID right now, so we'll see what happens there. Stick around for injury updates, obviously, on Twitter. But the Falcons and the Dolphins played each other this week in Miami. The Falcons win this thriller 30-28 on the final drive. They're now 3-3. Falcons slowly clawing back to mediocrity and relevance. And the Dolphins are now 1-6 in shambles. Dolphins do cover the spread, plus 2.5. So that's a consolation victory for them as the over comes in at 47.5. This game was an offensive showdown. No defense, all offense. Matty Ice getting the job done. Tua looked good.
Dude, I was watching this in Miami with a bunch of Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
And I've never seen such like a dichotomy between two sides. Like, they were arguing amongst themselves about how good Tua was and how bad Tua was. That tells you everything you need to know about this franchise right now.
There was kind of two sides to the game where like Tua had 2 interceptions, but then he also comes back and allows them to get the make it close when they're down by 2 touchdowns. So there was that two dichotomy you talked about within the game itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's a fun fact.
Yeah,
also,
go for it.
Some random guy who was like really drunk. He was saying how Ricky Williams is the best running back of all time. And then me and some guy from El Paso were there as well. And we were just like just laughing our butts off. And we're like, that's a Florida man right there. Like, that guy is a Florida man.
That's as biased of a take as possible, right? Don't get me wrong. Ricky Williams is incredible, but there's so many running backs.
I can name you 200 running backs probably that could potentially fight for that role over Ricky Williams.
LaDainian Thompson?
Yeah, I mean,
one of them.
we could literally be on this podcast for 5 hours naming running backs. So, whatever, outlandish take for that guy, but hopefully he followed our podcast and social media.
He was not one of them.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Florida man did not follow.
All right, hopefully that was the first and last time you ever see that guy. But the Falcons take this one. You talked about it. Matt Ryan gets the job done. Kyle Pitts finally fucking doing Kyle Pitts things.
Right.
7 catches,
about time.
163 yards. He finally looks like he's a mismatch everywhere, and he's unstoppable. And his catches were not easy catches.
No.
One-handed, over the shoulder, like getting grabbed. The dude is skilled as shit.
Yeah.
There's a reason he went 4th overall.
Yeah.
And Gesicki, no slouch on the other end on the tight end side. Tight end day, both guys showing up. Gesicki 7 for 85 and a touchdown. The tight ends came to play, man. The tight ends came to play. Tua, again, up and down. The thing I see on paper with Tua is, dude, it sucks because I just don't think he quite has it. Like, I think he tries really, really hard. There's a lot of things he does well. He's really, really good at checking the ball down. He's got a lot of intermediate accuracy, which is nice. But one thing I noticed is when he runs, you're like, oh, there's a shit ton of field in front of you. This is sick.
That one the one way he ran on the left side, he tried to throw like deeper, but he had the easy 3rd and 2 first down.
Yeah, so I'm just like, decision making, I'm like, you're there. Are you not trusting your like legs or your athleticism to get you there? Because there are times where he scrambles and I'm like, okay, bunch of open field. This is an easy 50, 20 yards. He gets like 7 and slides and I'm like, it's like he's slower than what I expect him to be. So he's like, oh, this is an athletic, mobile quarterback, but he's not very fast. He doesn't look very fast compared to the NFL players. And his arm just seems so slightly lacking. Like, the arm strength isn't quite there. Like I talked about maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. He's having to put so much emphasis on throwing the football. And a lot of these like deep out routes, it's like, it's either barely getting there or the defender's there to knock it down. I'm like, okay, that maybe just lack of arm strength. I don't know what you guys think.
You know, for me, it's like it's so easy to kind of like put the blame on the quarterback and say that. And yes, we have seen that Tua doesn't have all of the athleticism that you want to see in a quarterback. But you can't. I mean, for me, I'm looking at this Miami Dolphins teams and allowing 400 yards to Atlanta Falcons. Yes, they've got explosive players, but at the same time, like week in, week out, your defense isn't performing either. So there's a lot of blame to go around, not just Tua. So for me, it's like a whole team thing, and I can't just point my fingers at Tua and say like, they need to trade everything and anything possible to get Deshaun Watson. I think that team as a whole just needs to get better.
No, you're right. You're right. This is definitely not Tua's doing. The reason they're 1-6 is not because of Tua, right? This is the worst defense we've seen in the NFL at the moment. They're probably worse than the Lions now. But here's some good things about Tua, which there's not very many lately. But so Tua became the first QB in Dolphins history with over 40 pass attempts and over 4 touchdowns, with a completion percentage over 80% in a single game.
Damn.
And mind you, like Dan Marino played for this team.
Yep.
So he played probably one of the, if not the best game a Dolphins quarterback has ever played. So that being said, you're still losing 28 to 30. That makes you definitely look outside of Tua being the problem, even though he didn't play well. Like you mentioned, the execution, that was honestly one of the dumbest things. It was 3rd and 2. You were already in field goal range. You could have had a chance at a touchdown. The score would have been different right now if that was the case. And he just threw the ball for no reason. That was one of the dumbest things of the weekend. And he could have, the reason I'm nitpicking is because of plays like that.
Yep.
But outside of that, I think he played really well. The defense still played poorly. The running back situation, God knows what's going to happen. Gaskin got 15 carries for 67 yards. A lot of this game script was because they were down. Mm-hmm. So they did have to throw a lot, hence Tua throwing for 40 times. But outside of Gaskin, Salvon Ahmed only had like 6 or 7 rushes. So it looks like for the time being, it's safe to say you can start Gaskin on your fantasy football team.
Right. And if Tua's out there, I also do like the receivers too.
Yeah.
Like I like Waddle, who got 7 receptions, 8 targets. Like I'm happy starting Waddle if Tua is out as well. So.
Right.
Yeah, the recipe for them is they're going to be down a lot. Their defense sucks, so the offensive players are going to get a ton of opportunities. It just doesn't put Tua in a situation to succeed, right? So we can't put the blame on him because they're down a lot. At the same time, this is the NFL, and the guy that gets the most scrutiny all the time is going to be the quarterback, whether we like it or not. So it's one of the, I guess, the double-edged sword. Yeah. So any other innuendo you can think of.
So we've been talking about the Dolphins a lot, but also kudos to the Atlanta Falcons, right? Like now they're 3-3. They could potentially be a wild card contender.
Granted, they beat the Jets, the Jaguars, and now the Dolphins. So those are literally the 3 worst teams in the league. But you play who's in front of you, right? You can't pick your schedule.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're right. Let's still give them credit. We're still giving them credit, right?
They are. I'm not. They are.
Still got to get a win's a win in the NFL. They were at Miami. Tua had that impressive late game drive, 6 of 6, 95 yards, touchdown. Right. Take the lead. But Matty Ice in his fucking veins still, bro. Running 75% speed compared to the rest of the NFL, but he still gets the job done. Drives him down. Young Wei Koo kicks that game winner. I hit my survivor pick. I was on edge there because I was like, fuck, why did I just take a chance on a dumb team? In my head, I'm like, I should have just taken like an easy
Rams
one. Yeah, I was like, should have just taken an easy. I had to get cute. But luckily, they pulled this away. They have another matchup that's winnable. They're versus the Panthers, right? We saw the Panthers defense get decimated against a Giants team this week, and we'll talk more about that. So a chance for the Falcons to actually be over 500 next week.
4-3.
That's got to be encouraging. Nothing encouraging for Miami. They're going to be at the Bills next week. So maybe more to a lot of throws because that's what they're going to be having to do. So nonetheless, now Falcons 3-3. Miami is 1-6. The Jets are also bad. They're 1-5. They were at the New England Patriots this week, who are now 3-4 after destroying the Jets.
We're not going to see over 54 points for the rest of the.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the quietest 54 I've ever seen anybody put up. I'm like, next thing you know, I'm looking over here. I'm like, okay, the Pats and Jets, right? For me, fantasy-wise, it's like the least implications I have. So I'm paying attention to a lot of other games. Mm-hmm. Every time I look over here, there's more points being put up by the Pats. And I'm just like, what is going on? The Jets are bad. The Patriots covered the 7-point spread. They hit the over by themselves.
Right? 54 points.
Jesus.
551 yards of offense by the Patriots. 0 turnovers. Mm-hmm. I mean, 551 yards, 0 turnovers. I don't know how you're going to lose that way. Mac Jones, 24 completions, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. He's by far been the best rookie quarterback this season so far. I don't think that's up for debate. Damian Harris, the real deal, 106 yards and only 14 carries, 2 scores. Patriots doing the thing where the receiver is the running back. Brandon Bolden, 6 catches, 79 yards and a touchdown. But, dude, they looked good. They looked good, as they should, against a Jets team at home that has nothing going for them. Zach Wilson's now hurt. Yeah. What else? What else did you guys see?
No, I mean, it was just like a very scripted game for Belichick, right? Just run the ball, give Damian Harris the ball, and get inside runs, and then screen passes, and no answers for that,
No.
like at all. So I expected more from this Jets defense. I was like 7.
That's why you started them in fantasy this week.
Oh man, this is such a mistake.
Don't remind them.
Negative 11 points. I mean, it was just atrocious to watch. I wonder what Jets fans are feeling like. That's got to be like,
not as bad as you because they probably expected to lose.
What's weird though, like to justify your take, right? Which is tough because it's minus 11 now because we're already after the fact.
Yeah.
It's not like the Patriots offense is a juggernaut.
That's
right.
Yeah.
But for them to drop 54 on the Jets, with ease.
It's like let's say you have a brother that's 10 years old younger than you, and then like you know he learned everything from you, and you beat his ass through everything throughout your life, throughout your career. That's how I look at the Patriots and the Jets, and they come at home when the Patriots haven't won a home game. Belichick just lost to Tom Brady. Like,
you give the brother reference. I think that Bill Belichick is the Jets' daddy.
Oh
Daddy.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's what it is.
Straight daddy.
0-13 for rookie quarterbacks at home.
There was nothing pointing towards Jets having a good day.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
That was tough. You must have been really desperate. I take it you were, otherwise you wouldn't have started them. But nonetheless, lesson learned. We thought the Jets' defense actually was decent, which is the crazy thing.
They were seventh.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're like, okay, against a team that runs the ball a lot, yeah, it's a bend, don't break. They'll just run, control the clock, score some points. But 54, nobody saw 54 points by the Patriots this week. So just destroyed them. The Jets, shit doesn't get easier for the Jets. I mean, again, Zach Wilson left with a knee injury. Matt White literally looked like a Madden, fourth string quarterback that just hops in. That
On
was
all
like
Madden
an
mode.
auto-created player with the most basic name. Third-year quarterback out of Western Kentucky took over. And what's funny about this is even though, he played longer, so his numbers may look inflated, he actually looked way worse than Zach Wilson, which that's horrible for Jets fans, but as being Zach Wilson, you're probably like, thank God the guy that came in didn't look like better than me, because then you're like, where do you go from here? It's a number 2
I
overall
almost
drafted
wonder
player.
if anybody that's in that backfield as a quarterback probably just looks as bad. You know what I mean?
I mean,
because at least Zach Wilson is running around and trying to evade the defenses that are coming at him. He's in the pocket. He's got he's just
it's bad, bro.
It's not looking good for him.
They're absolutely a mess.
They're getting help though. There was a trade this morning.
Oh, Super Bowl winner is now a Jet. He's back with the Jets.
Joe Flacco, that's right.
He's back to being a Jet. So you know what that means. I bet the receivers get a little bit of love from that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more pocket presence. There's going to be quick passes.
Yeah.
So if anything, Jameson Crowder's stock goes up a little bit.
Yep.
Everything else is still the same.
Yeah, dump-offs maybe. Michael Carter, Ty Johnson.
I saw that trade and I was like, it's just so right that Joe Flacco is a Jets.
Wasn't he a Jet before?
Yeah. Oh, he was a Jets before?
Yeah.
Like
the
very
Ravens?
short tenure. Yeah.
Not for very long. But
Not for very long, but I think he was traded there.
Okay.
He
seems like a, I don't know, what was it, Testaverde?
Vinny.
Vinny Testaverde.
Don't disrespect Testaverde like that. He's probably the greatest Jet of all time.
He just seems like a Jets, solid Jets quarterback, late in his career playing there. It just seems fitting.
Yeah, so he's going to just step in and start. So they're like, all right, Matt White, third-year quarterback, maybe you got something there. We're looking for the future, but we're like, we'd rather start this 37-year-old guy that we already know what we're going to get from him because we're tanking.
So check this out. This is how big of a Jet Joe Flacco is. He was drafted by the Jets.
Oh.
He left the Jets, came back to the Jets in 2020, left the Jets, came back to the Jets again. So he's been a Jet 3 times.
This is a third stint with the Jets.
Yes.
What?
Yes. So
I mean, how does
that work?
As if
you
people don't.
You're just a Jet by nature.
Who the fuck loves being a Jet by nature? That's literally, we talked about where your career goes to die. But I mean, whatever, Joe. I mean, you've already got a Super Bowl, so I'm sure he doesn't really care
Big
anymore.
Toe Joe.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're got to be openly tanking at this point when you're trading for a guy like Joe Flacco and putting him out there. Again, you have a third-year quarterback. It's not like either guy's going to make you win. You're probably going to lose. You're looking to lose. Give the guy who's younger a shot. But no, they're like, we're going to take this 37-year-old or however old he is. But yeah, the Jets are decimated. They're playing for the top pick. The Patriots 3-4 now. They're traveling to take on the Chargers next week. It's not going to get any easier. The Panthers, we just talked about them. They were at the Giants this week, a spot where all of us, I think, expected maybe the Panthers to come out victorious. Yeah. I mean, they had a defense. The Giants are decimated. They have nothing going for them. And wouldn't you know it, it's the NFL. The Giants win 25-3. Okay, this is wrong. Oh, were the Giants underdogs? Yeah, Giants were 3-point dogs, so they covered the 3-point spread. The under comes in. Panthers are the second fake news on the board, I think, next to Denver. We've called that out since day one.
Yep, those two for sure.
Sam Darnold back to his Jets ways. Only 16 completions, 111 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. He got benched for an XFL start, and P.J. Walker, who looked actually worse than he did.
I like the way he runs, though.
I do too. But what's funny about running is the one thing that Sam Darnold
Was
had
doing
going for
well.
him was running,
Yeah.
and he had 0 rushing attempts.
Yep.
Explain that.
You can't.
It's time for Christian McCaffrey to come back. This was the best time for them to have a bye week. They have a bye week, right?
No, they're at the Falcons.
Oh no, they already used the bye week.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Wait, did they?
Did they?
Oh God, I hope not. I need McCaffrey to have
Oh
a
wait,
bye week to
wait.
stay
You
out.
would have remembered this.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not. But yeah.
No, but you have Chuba, right? Have you had to bench
It's
Chuba
it's
for
3 and 4, so that's 7.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
7. There you
So
go.
They
That's
haven't been in
logic.
Yeah.
Logic. Yeah, so now they got the Falcons next week. The Giants are going to be at the Chiefs, so that's going to be tough. But this game, again, Sam Darnold does not do anything, does not help the team in any way. PJ Walker comes in 3 for 14 for 33 yards. Like, what the fuck is that? And then you got Chuba, 12 carries for 28 yards. Just no efficiency. The team was sacked 6 times. Like, 0 run game, 2 for 15 on 3rd down. Like, how did they expect to win? What the fuck was going on? Why is Darnold not using his legs? The only thing that actually works for him. Their offensive line looks horrible. Like, everything just went completely south for the Panthers, who, 4 weeks ago were like, we're 3-0. We're the surprise of the NFL. Our defense is legit. What happened here?
I think it's the benefactor of the Giants defense just showing up, and not the defense as a whole, like that defensive line.
Yeah.
Like the guys, the rookie Aziz Ojulari.
Yeah, Aziz Ojulari. Yep.
Aziz Ojulari is tied for the most sacks by rookie in a season with 5.5 for the Giants.
Nice.
So he had a balling out game. 3 tackles for loss, 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 4 QB hits,
Yeah.
right? And then the other guy, Leonard Williams, right? 1.5 sacks, 3 QB hits, 7 QB pressures on 36 snaps. So I think it was one of those things where the running game isn't doing anything for you if you're the Panthers, and then Sam Darnold is not getting any sort of consistency and the things that you need a quarterback to kind of when you go into the game.
He lacks it all.
He's just not doing well, and he's not the answer. They
he's
went
not.
out and traded him,
No.
and he's just looking like how he did with the Jets, and so
Clearly another team that's desperate for a future quarterback.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot to do with the defensive line of the Giants for sure, but they also send hella blitzes this game. Jabril Peppers, their safety, had a sack. He's actually injured. I think he tore his ACL.
Oh shit!
I think he's out for season.
that's
From what I
tough.
remember. I'll get back to you guys on Twitter on that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're out with him. So out of all the injuries they've already had, they have their best defensive player gone now.
Yeah,
So.
and again, we talked about this under the radar. Danny Dimes, quietly with a team that literally looks like they have nobody because everybody's hurt every week, having a pretty good season, and he had a good game. 23 completions, 203 yards, a
Caught
touchdown.
a sick pass.
Caught a one-handed, sick diving pass, and he got hit. It was one of those old school plays where the receiver catches it and gets decked, and you're like, "That's a penalty."
Yeah.
The number one QB, the number one running back, and the number one receiver on that team.
Yep.
Not stats wise, but
he's literally Bugs Bunny of that team right now, man. Quarterback Bugs Bunny, running back Bugs Bunny. Like Danny Dimes is everywhere.
Yeah.
Booker had a decent game, 51 yards on 14 carries, got into the end zone late. But
Robbie Anderson on the other end does not look like a startable option.
no, that offense looks fucking horrid.
He's
DJ
dropping
Moore's
passes.
stock dropped down too now.
Yeah, it's time for a change there. I think what the change they're going to get is CMC. And if CMC doesn't cut it, then it's time to start changing quarterbacks. But I think until CMC comes back, just because he's 4-0 with CMC and then 0 whatever without CMC, there's an actual thing here to
CMC
be
effect,
pointing.
yeah, exactly.
There's a realistic effect here. So we'll see what happens because CMC should be back. He should be. But I don't know. These hammies, he was already back like a week after tearing it. So I don't. You can't predict their thought process at this time. But if he had never came back and just waited it, he could be back this week. So I don't know how to explain that, but he should have been able to be back.
Yeah, I talked to my buddy Jordan, who's a Panthers fan, and he says at this point, there's no need to rush CMC. They're like, we're not going. He's like, we're not going anywhere. At this point, just tank, lose.
What?
Get a better draft pick.
Damn, I hate that. I don't like that. I don't like that. They're 3-3.
3-4 now.
3-4 now, and it's not like you guys they've looked terrible these games. Like the games that they've won pretty well. Like their defense was number 1 for 3 weeks in a row. Sam Darnold was running things. He was throwing to DJ Moore. Things were clicking. Things are just officially not clicking anymore. So I don't know if that's the Giants are the ones that I would be like, it's time to tank because of all the injuries they've had. How do you come back from this?
Yeah.
And yet they're out here winning games. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe in 2 weeks we'll have this talk again and see where they're at. But as of right now, I as much as I want to hit the panic button, I'm 3-4. I'll wait. I'll wait at least like 2 more weeks.
Yeah, they got a favorable matchup. They're at the Falcons next week, which is a coin toss. So you win and you're back to 500. You
True.
know, and then at that point you're back in the race.
Yeah.
And so the Giants, tough. They're gonna be at the Chiefs, who've struggled, but they're still the Chiefs. So that's gonna be a tough test for the Giants. Speaking of the Chiefs,
Are they still the Chiefs though?
Well, let's talk about that. The Chiefs were at the Titans this week, and holy cow, statement game for the Titans. They're back. They're the real deal.
I apologize to all Titans out there for giving up on them after week 1.
Same, bro. Same. We were talking about it on this pod because the NFL's been crazy this year, and I feel like maybe it's not just this year, but because we're so involved in this podcast, we're seeing more of an emphasis this year. But teams who early on look amazing, all of a sudden crumble. Teams early who look like they were shit, all of a sudden are irrelevant. Like, and it's only been 7 weeks, but so much ebb and flow. Like the Titans' first couple of weeks couldn't stop anybody on defense.
Not at all.
Anybody, right? They were winning because Derrick Henry was running 40 times, and now 3 points given up to the Chiefs' offense. 27-3 statement win. Cover the 4.5-point spread. The under comes in. They're another plus 190 money line parlay dog that just straight up hits. The Titans are for real. A.J. Brown's back. Looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's only going to get better for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, A.J. Brown is healthy. He looks like a number 1 again. Julio's back on the field, so helps at least take some defenders away. You still have Derrick Henry. Tannehill's always been sufficient, better than average. But on the Chiefs side, are they in trouble? Is it time to hit the panic button?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking at their standings or like schedule and who they have, what it looks like. They can be a solid 10-7. Looking at all the matchups and it's like
that's the best case scenario at this point.
I mean, they've got some pretty tough matchups coming up, but they also they're playing against the Raiders 2 more times, and they can definitely have like a 1-1.
Don't sleep on the Raiders, dog. I will not let you disrespect the Raiders like that.
I'm not trying to disrespect the Raiders, but I'm just saying.
No, I know. They can split it.
They can actually split it. And so I'm looking at 10-7 for the Chiefs for the rest of the season.
Damn, only 3 more losses
but
for
you
the
all,
Chiefs?
Here's the thing. 2 sides. 1, yes, with the way they're playing, you're like, there's no way they only lose 2 times. 2, in any given week, if that switch gets flipped and they figure something out, the Chiefs could win every game.
I've been saying that part for the last 3 weeks.
And haven't.
They're not, dude, okay, so their offensive line is in disarray. There's no way, like, if you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and he's scrambling for his life, you have a problem. You have a problem. If you have one of the best quarterbacks ever, he should not be having to move his legs at all. He should be sitting there and throwing, and that is not the environment that's created around here. Receivers can't catch worth crap. Tyreek Hill drops at least one that turns into a pick every game. So this problem that the Kansas City Chiefs have is like a clear-cut case of post-Super Bowl loss withdrawal,
hangover.
I don't know what you want to call it, but they have not figured it out. Nothing has clicked. Defense is trash. Offensive line can't keep Mahomes healthy enough to not have to like do wild plays.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't see them getting back to their old ways unless they can pull off like 2 to 3 wins in a row somehow.
Yeah, and then their defense, their whole thing was to stop Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry didn't have the 100+ game that we're used to.
He was
on
inefficient
29
running,
carries, which
86
is not
yards.
that good. Yeah.
Right, so they put, and so in 26 of 29 rushes, there were 7 men on the box. So they clearly
7 or more, I take it, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so they were clearly trying to stop Derrick Henry, and that was the game plan. But when you have Tannehill throwing it to guys like A.J. Brown, who has a solid game, and you have that passing option as well, and you don't need Derrick Henry, and you just have him as like a...
He's literally a decoy at that point.
Exactly.
I mean, he was also a quarterback at one
Yeah,
point.
and he fucking threw a touchdown. They're beating you every which way right now.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is he wouldn't have scored a touchdown if he didn't throw that ball. If that was a running play, he was going to get smashed. But the fact that he threw it...
I wonder if it was a option play for him where he could kind of assess. And then if the run was there, just run it and then throw it. I mean, shit, I don't know, man. This is new age NFL, man. You got to have those options. We talk about it all the time with like offenses adapting to this RPO. Like I was just sitting there thinking about the RPO the other day, right? If you can execute the RPO, there's no defense that can stop you really. Because you literally are dictating what you're doing based on reading the defense.
It's the best possible play, right?
Yeah.
You basically choose the best possible play, and the defense can't do anything about it because you're the last person to decide. So
they're reacting to how you run that play, right?
Right.
And you're making the decision based on what you see the defense doing. So you're always a step ahead in essence. And so the teams that execute that to perfection, like they're getting the ball down the field with ease. And so you have a team like this now with Derrick Henry, or not now, but like they still have a guy like Derrick Henry. We saw A.J. Brown is healthy now. So if they run that, if they're running the run pass option in that offense, it's unstoppable because if you play Derrick Henry, AJ Brown's too good to go one-on-one. Julio's still too good to be one-on-one. And then if you try to cover those guys, Derrick Henry can run over everybody. He can run by everybody. And their offensive line all of a sudden looks really good.
Yeah,
like it's another night and day change.
Yeah, it is.
And so with all that clicking, the fucking Titans are for real.
Yeah.
5-2 now.
It's a big statement game, man. Like you beat the Bills in prime time, and now you beat the Chiefs. So like,
Yeah.
who
Those
are
coming into the season, the two best teams in the AFC.
right?
Yeah, Bills, Chiefs.
Right.
It's crazy. And so we talked about it. Time of possession, 37 minutes to 23 minutes. You keep Mahomes off the field as long as you can. Mahomes had the interception. He also had that fumble, which was tough because he ran it so well, and then the guy came from behind and scooped it out. You talked about it, right? The offensive line is in disarray. The Titans generated pressure without blitzing. They blitzed one time on Patrick Mahomes' 39
That's just
dropbacks.
embarrassing.
One time.
Wild. And that, you know, we talked about is there a script for the Chiefs to be beatable?
Yeah.
And it's kind of becoming more and more evident, like, you know, the cover 3 and not blitzing Patrick Mahomes, that contain defense. It seems like that's sort of the strategy right now.
Yeah,
Right? And every team is kind of going.
See, like last year before the Super Bowl, containing Patrick Mahomes would have been a nightmare because they're just giving him more time to throw. That's what contain is, right?
Yep.
It's like contain is just don't let him run. That's the definition of contained defense. He doesn't care about running. He's still a pass first quarterback. The problem is they're missing a lot of offensive linemen. Like Pro Bowlers from last week aren't here anymore. They're using some no-namers now to play the toughest position, protecting Patrick Mahomes, and it's just not working. And it's just like this isn't going to end anywhere if they keep using the same team. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm actually really intrigued on what their plans are because even though this is the same formula for their losses all season long, they haven't changed anything at all.
No, and again, I think they lead the league in turnovers right now. Like Patty has the most interceptions tied with Zach Wilson, and we talked about it, right? He does so many things spectacularly, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago where there was a stat that came out that he had 19 potential passes last year that should have been intercepted that weren't. And so is this like Patrick Mahomes could throw 50 touchdowns every season, right? But you take that with, is he going to be a guy that now has like 15 interceptions a season? Because he does put the ball in harm's way, but it's because he's making spectacular plays that most guys can't make.
Right.
So you have to win the turnover battle in the NFL, right? There's no doubt about it. It's tough to win when you're losing the turnover battle. But a lot of this is, it's tough because they're behind the 8 ball with a horrible offensive line. You're putting all your stock in a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who has to do more than most, if not every quarterback in the league right now because he's running for his life every play.
Can you name all the quarterbacks that have 2 or less turnovers in the league right now?
2 or less? I guess Kirk Cousins is one.
That's the only, that list is over.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
I figured. That makes sense.
Real quick on the Chiefs schedule, I was just pulling it up right now. So they play the Giants next week.
Let's count that as a win.
Okay. They play the Packers. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, could go either way.
The Raiders.
Could go either way.
The Cowboys.
God, Cowboys are good.
Then they play the Broncos.
Okay, they should win that. They should win that.
And then Raiders. So they play the Raiders again.
Split one.
So you split one. Then they play the Chargers again.
That's a tough one.
We don't even know what the Chargers are going to look like at that point in the season yet.
Right.
We're still figuring them out.
Then we've got the Steelers.
Okay.
And I at this point, I'm going to count that as it's going to be a close call, but I'm going to lean Chiefs for the sake of would they make it to playoffs or not. Then the Bengals.
Okay. Tough game.
And the Broncos.
Okay.
So out of those, there was like maybe 4 games?
Dude, that's tough.
That's tough.
That's a tough schedule. For already having 4 losses, you still need 7 more wins to at least try to get into the playoffs. It's not any easier. And it's like the inefficiencies aren't just like patches that they can Band-Aids that they can put to like buy time. These are glaring issues. They're scoring 3 points with an offense that literally arguably a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, unstoppable. There was no script for them. And now they're struggling to score. Mm-hmm. And so it's tough. It's tough for them. I don't know, but you need some kind of adversity, right? You almost, at first, early on in Mahomes' career, you're like, this guy's so good that there's nothing to stop him.
Right.
And it's not like you're stopping him, but there's a formula right now on the Chiefs. We talked about it. So it's some adversity. Yeah. First time Mahomes' career, he's faced adversity. We'll see how they come out with it. I expect nothing less from Mahomes than to come out on top. So we'll see what they can generate against the Giants next week. The Titans, they're going to be at the Colts. The Colts have been picking up some momentum, so that should be a good divisional game there. The Lions are 0-7 now after dropping one to the Rams. The Rams are 6-1. Closer game than we thought. The moral victory for the Lions is they cover the 15-point spread, losing 28-19. The under comes in at 50.5. Boy, man, this was such a funny game because the Lions were pulling out all the fucking tricks early on. All the tricks. 2 onside kicks. No, sorry. One onside kick, two fake punts.
Yeah.
Two fake punts in the first half. Onside kick recovery in the first half.
How do they expect that second fake punt to go?
I don't know.
What do they think was going to happen?
Dude, it's crazy because this is another one where you're like, there's such a glaring difference in talent from one team to another that, Brubble was having such a great time early in the first quarter, in the first half. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, man, but there's no way the Lions are keeping this up for 4 quarters. Like, you're not going to onside it every time. You're not going to fake punt it every time. And once you actually have to, put Goff on the field and an offense has to generate a drive, you knew what that was going to look like. So it was just a matter of time. I mean, Matthew Stafford absolutely ate. 334 yards, another 3 touchdowns. Just cool and collected. Cooper Kupp, super easy. 10 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Same story, different week. Shit, I don't know. What else did you guys see?
Yeah, I'm sure both quarterbacks wanted this really bad. Like Stafford going against his former team Lions, Goff, who just, he probably wants it more than Stafford
he
does.
definitely wanted it more.
And he tried, but at the end of the game, or in the fourth quarter, right, you have a chance to get it close, and you throw interception. And like in classic Goff fashion.
Man, I really wanted the Lions to win this game. I was rooting for them. Like
they were
did
you pick
team.
The Rams or did you pick the Rams this week?
Nobody picked the Rams.
Nobody picked the Rams, Survivor? Okay. But yeah, dude, I mean, it was a nice story. It was a nice story in the first half. You wanted Dan Campbell to fucking get his first win, but they couldn't do it. It was too... Like the Rams are too good, right? You can pull out every trick in the bag, and unless that onside or that fake punt was in the fourth quarter at crucial time, I don't care what you do in the first quarter. 4-quarter league, go up. If the Lions had gone up 21-0 in the first quarter, or the Lions had, I still would have been like they're losing this game. So it's just tough. They don't have enough talent. Jared Goff's not good enough. He's just not good enough. Unfortunately, no weapons. Swift's their best player. I mean.
This is the new age NFL. You can't win without receivers.
No,
like I don't know. I don't care what team you are. You're not winning without some receiver help.
Yeah, and I picked up Amon-Ra St. Brown this week because he had 8 targets, 7 targets, 3 weeks in a row. I'm like, all right, whatever. Volume's there. It's a bye week. I really need to pick a guy off the street. Wouldn't you know it? Not only did he have 0 catches, he had 0 fucking targets on being on the field 65% of the offensive snaps. I'm like, dude, that's insane. Luckily, still won, but you can't do that. Khalif Raymond had a decent game. Mm-hmm. Why was Amon-Ra St. Brown not getting a single target?
Like they're just going to switch it up.
Yeah, it's just...
There is no focus towards receivers here. It's just like whichever one's available in the gameplay. Like they're not going to go into any game saying today's Raymond Day.
No. They're like, our receivers are our 5th option. We got Swift, we got Williams, we got Hawkinson, we got the backup tight end, we got the 3rd-string tight end.
Which helps.
And then we have Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, which helps for like the first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And after the first quarter and a half,
you're down by a lot.
You're down by like...
You got to throw the ball. You got to get chunk yards, and your running back dump-offs and your little fucking outs to your tight end is not going to cut it.
I don't know what they're thinking. They might need to fire him right now.
That's just so sad, though, because he loves the team. He cares so much about them. He cries for them. He wants to win so bad.
Then all the grandmas would be coaches all over.
I know, man. I know. Honestly, it's tough. Again, the one thing you got to respect with the Lions is every week they try their hardest. And you can't say that for every team. They come out and they play. They know they're not as talented. They're not good. They don't have the talent level to compete with a lot of NFL teams, but they bust their ass, bro. We've talked about it every week. They've been in almost every football game they played, right? Yeah. And against a Rams team when you're 15-point dogs, that's disrespect.
At the end of the season, the Lions should play the Falcons for like the best moral victory.
Toilet bowl.
I mean, it's also the other thing is the Lions defense, right? Like not doing so well. No. Also in key third downs, the Rams only punted the ball one time. Yeah, that whole game only punted one time, and sure enough, Cooper Kupp, gets a touchdown. Also in 3rd and 12, Higbee got a touchdown. Also on 3rd down, 3rd and 10. So like when you have to make these key stops, the Lions are just not doing that. So that it's just. There's like I said, like with the Miami Dolphins, there's not just one person to blame. It's a whole team thing. Yeah. And this team just sucks.
Yeah. They try hard, but they're bad. Speaking of 3rd downs, you know what the number 1 defense in 3rd down stoppage rate is this year?
This is also the Vikings.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so the next game on the board, the Eagles are at the Vegas Raiders. Don't sleep on the Raiders. 33-22, they win. John Gruden, post-John Gruden era, they're a new team. They're 5-2 now. The Eagles are 2-5. Raiders cover the 3-point spread. The over hits at 49. Raiders are not fake news. Weren't they another fake news possibility this year?
They were. I'm not going to discount them completely from the non-fake news area, but they've made a great transition from definitely not fake news at this time.
Yeah. I mean, 5-2, offense clicking. Derek Carr finally looks like the real deal.
He does.
And the thing is, what was the problem with the Raiders, 2-3 years ago, and what we thought was going to come in this year was they focused too much on Darren Waller. It's like Darren Waller, and there's nobody else. Darren Waller was a late scratch.
What do you do now?
You're like, what do you do? Nothing. Derek Carr still feasted. He freaking gets everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kenyon Drake is relevant again.
So for me, it's either the Philadelphia Eagles are just that bad on defense,
That's also
or the
true.
Raiders are really good. And right now I'm leaning towards the Eagles just being atrocious
It's
on
both.
defense.
Don't take away from the Raiders' offense. That
Sure.
offense deserves every credit that they've earned. What are they bad at this point? What are the Raiders bad at?
Dude,
on
they
offense?
have the two best. It's something about their two cornerbacks have the most amount of snaps with no touchdowns allowed. They have literally 2 shutdown corners right now.
That's-
You haven't
that's
given up a
huge.
touchdown.
That's huge.
That is huge.
From a defense, you expect it to be like their biggest weakness.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, offensively, they look good as far as their running back is concerned, right? So Jacobs scores a touchdown this week.
Scores a touchdown early, chest contusion, fucks him up.
Kenyon Drake,
Scores a touchdown.
right? It's like because John Gruden's out, Derek Carr's being able to be involved in the play calling.
Yeah.
Is that the
That's the
difference?
difference
Is that
maker,
all
man.
it took?
Who did
Yeah.
they play last week? Who did the Raiders beat last week?
That's a great question.
I don't know. Let's check real
The
quick.
Gruden game.
Yes, but it's back-to-back games. Also, Derek Carr is on pace to beat Peyton Manning's passing
Broncos.
yards.
Broncos.
Yes.
Okay.
Derek Carr,
That's
Single
pretty
season
crazy.
passing yards.
single season
Wow.
passing yard.
Hit me with something I would have never guessed, bro.
Right.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they played against the Eagles, so and they played the Broncos last week. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's they're performing an offense like they want to, I guess. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they're doing well. On the other side of the field, this has been the same problem all season long. The Eagles can't do anything on offense for 3 quarters, and the fourth quarters they're garbage time kings. They have not fixed this problem. They did try. They tried to fix it by running the ball, which worked, and then he got injured, and then they had to deviate away from that plan again. So what do we do here? What's the plan for the Eagles? Deshaun Watson sweepstakes?
It doesn't make sense. You cannot trade. If you're the Eagles, you can't trade for Deshaun Watson because your problem is not the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is not the problem. He's young. He's still got a lot of things he's got to work on. But there are things that jump off the page that it's not like every quarterback has. And I'm like, sure, Deshaun Watson is like a upgraded version of Jalen Hurts, but it's because Deshaun Watson's been in the league longer. I feel like if you give Jalen Hurts 4 years, he could be exactly there.
But, I think the Eagles are probably one of the closer teams to tank mode right now. Because what is this team going to do? Yes, they could win like 6 more games.
Yeah.
What is they going to do? So I think for that reason, and it's also not to like hate on Jalen Hurts, but it's more about they have so many draft picks. They have so many draft picks that they can afford to lose Jalen Hurts and use some of those other draft picks and get a better Jalen Hurts in Deshaun Watson.
Or you keep Jalen Hurts, you get 3 top 10 picks, you build a fucking team around him. Like, why are they so bad for 3 quarters? Figure that out and draft those guys.
Right. Focus on the defense.
Dude, Jalen, I would be that would suck for Jalen Hurts if they're already like, hey, we're trading for, and I get it. Deshaun Watson's better. He's more proven, but it's not Davis Mills. It's not like a guy where you're like, this guy's clearly in need of a quarterback.
No. It's not like that at all. Like
No.
It's not like the Sam
I
Darnold
would feel
situations.
so bad for Hurts,
It's not
bro.
like the Jared
Yeah.
Goff situations because we've witnessed these games where
Yeah.
I told you guys last week 6 drop touchdowns in the end zone. That's like the next closest team was 2 drop touchdowns in the end zone. That's too many drop touchdowns.
Draft some fucking receivers that can catch the ball.
Right.
Bigger receivers.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
run the ball better.
Yeah.
Like get a new coach. I don't know what the problem is.
Scheme better. Do things. This to me, like, it's tough. Please, if you're the Eagles, do not trade for Deshaun Watson. Keep your draft picks and try to build around a guy that's shown you enough. Because having possibly 3 top 10 picks when you already have a quarterback that could be your future is insane.
True.
Think about that.
What about for the rest of the season? What do they do about this running back situation? Does Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell? Are you starting any of these guys on your fantasy team?
Well, the problem is Gainwell, like the receivers are so bad or inconsistent or not enough of them that Gainwell gets so many like snaps at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, it's tough because he's not going to get a tremendous amount of carries. What was Miles Sanders' injury? Like a high ankle sprain? Was it some kind of ankle?
It was ankle. That's what I know as of
Okay.
now. But
So-
I don't know where in the ankle or anything like that.
Depending on long term, you got to figure Boston Scott's probably the running back of the core.
Right.
And Gainwell's just going to be like the receiver, third down.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like Boston Scott's going to take the Gainwell role.
Mm-hmm.
Gainwell's going to keep his passing role, and he's
Yep.
going to take a little bit of Miles Sanders' role.
Yeah.
So, so Boston Scott's going to be the last man out here as far as So
Carries
yeah,
go.
as far as carries go, carries will increase, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be enough to get value to be startable.
No.
Whereas in PPR leagues, which is the basic type of league that exists now, PPR is the normal type of league. You would be starting Gainwell if he were to give you like 10 rushes and like 7 targets.
Yep.
With his speed, he could get you some points.
Yep. And the catches seem to be there. Again, outside of consistency from Devonta Smith, like Jalen Reagor hasn't been there. Quez Watkins has actually been a lot better.
He's
been
the
way
most
more of a surprise.
reliable guy.
Yeah. Like I feel like Hurts goes to him a lot on third downs, a lot of crucial situations. So credit to Quez Watkins coming in like as nobody. But I don't know. Depending on how long Sanders is out, it sucks because for the first fucking time they ran it with him in the first quarter, 6 carries, 30 yards, 5 yards a carry. Right?
Yeah.
They could have just gashed him all game, and the story would have been so much different. Like control the clock. The Raiders' offense isn't on the field as much, and different story, but doesn't happen every week. The Eagles have something different go wrong, but the story is, bro, come to play in the first fucking quarter.
Right.
Like stop showing up in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Come to play from the first snap. That seems like a locker room thing. That seems like a coaching thing.
Something's going on.
They're not getting prepared.
Yeah, no, they were up 7-0, right? Mm-hmm. And then they gave up 21 unanswered points. So like they had a interception. The Raiders got they punted the ball. Mm-hmm. Raiders scored a touchdown. Punted the ball again. Raiders scored a touchdown. Fumble by Gainwell.
Okay.
Field goal, and then that's the end of the half. And then the Raiders get the ball back and score a touchdown.
So at that point you're screwed.
Yeah,
you're screwed. You just turnovers, and then like every single time you punt, you can't stop them on defense. So Eagles defense needs draft picks. Their offensive line needs draft picks. They need a better receiver. They need like a number one clear-cut receiver with size. So there's so many issues outside of Jalen Hurts. Please, if you're the Eagles, do not trade for Deshaun Watson. Do not give up on Jalen Hurts. I think he's the real deal. But they get a decent matchup next week at the Lions.
Oh, wow.
Are the Lions going to pick up their first victory next week?
Oh, man.
They have a chance.
That's a good spot for them.
There's ever a team to beat.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
And that if there's ever a team for the Eagles to not wait till the fourth quarter to show up,
true.
It's the Lions.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Because, the Lions have – I would put up an argument saying the Lions have played way better so far than the Eagles have. So I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Again, the Raiders are now 5-2, riding high, and they get a week rest. They're heading into a bye. So that's going to be a tough division. The Raiders look good. Their offense looks good. Let's see when they play better teams, how they perform. But the Texans were at the Cardinals. Survivor pick for one of you guys here?
Cardinals were
just survivor pick. 17.5-point favorites, and they covered that 31-5.
You know what sucks right now? It's like the Cardinals were my Madden team, like starting week 3.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they weren't doing so well now because now I can't use them.
Because now everybody's like, oh, you're just using Cardinals, a 7-0 best team in the league.
I wish they went solid 8-8. And then, because like the skills are there, right?
Yeah.
It's just like the management, I wish was the problem because then you can just manage your own team on Madden.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of upsetting. Cardinals, start losing some games, please.
Dude, Packers this week, we need them to win that one. But 17.5 points, they covered that. The under comes in at 47.5. You don't typically see 5 points put up by the team. That's weird. But Arizona takes care of business, right? Just exactly what you expect is exactly what happened, Shove It.
Well, more or less. They came out in the first quarter not looking so good. So they did punt the ball. They were down 0-5, right? Mm-hmm. They had a safety, and then the
how many points do you think the Texans would have had to put up for you to be like, this game's scary or they're in trouble? Like, because I could have seen a 21-0 first quarter by Texans and still would have been like, the
and
Cardinals
you still would have been
fine.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like you expect the Cardinals to just come out
guns blazing.
Guns blazing against the Texans right off the bat. They didn't. It took a couple of drives and things like that, and so, but at the end of the day, 31 unanswered points.
I mean, it's like they're going to score 30 points.
Yeah.
And they're not going to let you score more than 20 points.
No.
So at this point, like, which team on their schedule is going to change that? I don't see any teams that are going to change that.
I don't know, man. They need to go up against like who's like a stout-ass defense that could actually give them run for their money?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But the Buccaneers pass defense, bro. They have cornerbacks starting off the streets against Hopkins, Green, and all those guys. That's trouble.
What is the stoutest defense in the NFL?
That's what, dude. I just sat there and thought about that, and I'm like, there's been so many defenses that have looked great one week,
the
and then all of a sudden
Panthers
look like shit.
No. I'm saying there was the ones that looked good.
Yep. Panthers are one. The Browns looked good until they gave up like 50 to the Chargers.
Maybe the Cowboys defense because
possibly.
like that's
they also allow a lot of points.
They're a moderate defense, but then their offense is good enough, so it's kind of one of those things that could be a good matchup.
And the Cowboys are masked by a lot of the turnovers that they force versus like the actual yardage they give up. But yeah, dude, they're scary.
Saints defense is still pretty good.
Saints defense is pretty good. Yep, I would say they're up there. But yeah, I don't see a defense that you're like they're far and away the best defense, whether it's run, pass, overall. There's a lot of holes in a lot of teams in the NFL. That's why I think 7 weeks in, you can't rule out any teams. I mean, unless you're the Jets, the Texans, or the Dolphins.
Right.
Every other team's a fair game.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals, again, take care of business. Texans 2 of 13 on third downs, 0 of 2 on fourth downs. Kyler, cool, 20% completions, 261, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Who cares? Only had 10 rushing yards on 6 attempts. Another tight end on tight ends day. Zach Ertz debuting, 3 catches, 66 yards, got that touchdown. Was super pumped up there. Edmonds, Connor, both contributing 140 yards, and Connor gets the touchdown. Again, they just take care of business. Rondale Moore was a non-factor, and it didn't matter. Like, that just goes to show you how deep their receiving core and their weapons are.
Right. That's a next year thing. I think Rondale Moore is going to be a significant factor next year.
Kind of burst on the scene. And
AJ Green's probably, I don't think it's a 1-year contract.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. So when he's gone, then
that's a classic next step for Rondale Moore to take, is solidify himself as like a number 2 next to Hopkins. Yeah, that'll be fun to see. But yeah, Texans, really not a lot going for them. I mean, where do the Texans go? I mean, they clearly need to lose.
They should trade for Deshaun Watson.
Got him. But
real quick.
Yeah.
So do you guys know what a scoregami is?
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
So I'm going to guess it's like origami and score
Okay.
combined.
And that makes?
Scoregami.
Okay. A scoregami is a scoring combination in the NFL that has never happened before.
Oh, shit. 5-31 never?
5 and 31 has
That's right. I
never
remember seeing that.
has never happened
Hell
before.
yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just saying, 5 points is tough. You don't see that. And I think we saw 2 5-pointers.
There's 2 games. It's 5
wild.
points.
Wild.
Yeah. So
Dude,
just
how
a fun
many?
fact.
Yeah, the NFL's going on for how long now? Shit, that's insane.
Yep.
31-5. But nonetheless, weird game. Cardinals don't start out hot, but they still cover the 17.5-point spread. 7-0, Thursday Night Football, quick turnaround for them versus the Packers, but they are at home, so that'll be a good matchup. The Bears at the Bucs here, all Bucs, 6-1 now. Bears at 3-4. Bucs takes care of this, 38-3. Cover the 12.5-point spread. Under hits at 47. I mean, when you're letting a team with Tom Brady and those weapons start more of their possessions in your territory than their own, like how the fuck are you going to win?
Yeah. So the first 3 drives, right? Or first 3 touchdowns was 50 yards or less that Tom Brady had to go and get a touchdown with.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's easy pickings at that point.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going to, so one quick thing to note, that was a big storyline here, is Tom Brady threw a 600 touchdown pass, right? Mike Evans had 3 touchdowns. I think the 600th was one of Mike Evans' touchdowns. And Mike Evans gave it to a guy in the crowd.
Yeah.
The guy in the crowd, I don't know if he knew that it was Tom Brady's 600 touchdown, because I don't think he did. Later on, some guy on the team came and asked him for it. There was like literally not much negotiating going on, and he just gave it to him.
It was one jersey.
Yeah.
At that time.
And it was one jersey at the time. Ended up saying later on they were going to give him $1,000 worth of store merchandise.
Yeah.
Which is shitty because, dude, that football would have gone for like $500,000 on eBay or more. Now, Tom Brady did come on Sunday Night Football yesterday and said that he was giving him one Bitcoin,
which is huge.
which is 60,000 plus, give or take.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Right.
So that's definitely better than $1,000 in merchandise, but still, relative to $500,000 you could have made.
Yeah.
If I'm that guy, bro, I'm protecting that football with my life.
So I've been going back and forth on this, and I'm trying to think, like, if Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm in that stand, he got his 600th touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I want the money, like, I love the Steelers, I would find it very hard to also not do what this guy did.
Okay, so time out. I agree with that. So you can still love the Steelers. $500,000 to a franchise like the Steelers is literally toilet paper money, and then you still get the money and you give them the football back. So everybody wins, but you make more money.
You know what you do? You take it home. You take a picture of it, make an NFT, and then you give it back to the team.
Boom!
But everybody wins.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, emotionally, you're like, oh, this is my team, this is my quarterback.
I was also doing the same thing on the toilet like last night, and I was like, if a Viking organization person interacted with me and said, I'm going to give you $1,000 worth of Viking stuff, my brain would not have processed. If I didn't know that was a 600 touchdown.
Yeah.
But if I did know the 600 touchdown, it's a whole different conversation.
Kirk Cousins throws the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson throws the ball as high as he can in the stands.
I have to go change my pants now.
And you get that ball.
Game winning that's a whole nother ball game.
That ball's worth over $1 million.
Yeah, for the Vikings. Think about that, right? I mean, nonetheless, good on the guy, right? Good guy. Still gets a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the rave.
I think he did. I'm glad he got the Bitcoin.
He got
That's
all
probably
of, he got all of the
public
above.
last.
He has a Mike Evans signed jersey. Now he
Yeah.
has a Tom Brady signed jersey. He also has $1,000 worth of memorabilia. And now he has a Bitcoin.
And season passes.
And season passes.
For
So
this year
that
and next
might
year.
add up to like 270K.
So
maybe
he's
more.
slowly making it back up.
Yeah.
Maybe he gains popularity
Yeah.
and puts his name
Maybe
out
he
there,
wants to
makes
get on a
money that way.
podcast.
Yeah, maybe we need to get that guy in the pod. Get that guy on the pod. Let's talk
Damn.
about the game. I mean, even though there's not a lot to talk about, the Bears disarray. Brady, 211 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 6 for 76, 3 touchdowns. Godwin, 8 for 111, a touchdown. Just Brady and the Bucs offense doing the Bucs offense things. Will the Bears offense ever be functional?
No, not this year. Not with Justin Fields at quarterback.
They look fucking horrendous.
Yeah, they look pretty bad. Offense is bad. Defense is supposed to be good. Also looked bad.
But the offense put the defense in such horrible
This is
positions
true.
this game.
This is true.
Right? So you have to factor that in, but that doesn't credit the defense in any way.
Right.
Fields, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 2 bro, protect the football.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if he throws 6 for 20 for 30 yards.
Yeah.
Protect the football. Right?
I'm actually glad we didn't get him now. At this point right now, I know he's a rookie and
Yeah.
all this stuff, but like I think
We as in the
somehow
Vikings.
we as in the Vikings. I'm somehow, some way, everything has just worked in our favor right now. As of this moment,
Right now, I want no other quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
Talk to me 7 weeks
potentially
ago. Do you
MVP
think
guy.
I'd be saying that? Absolutely not.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah, I mean, he looks awful. But again, the situation he's put in is not built to succeed. Like, dude, Matt Nagy, I don't know if he's the issue or what, but you have a rookie quarterback. Like, you have to build something around him that doesn't put so much pressure on him. And it's like he's thrown 22 times for 184 yards. One, he's dumping the ball off pretty much every time, right? The offensive line's not protecting him at all. He is self-inducing a lot of the sacks. But let's talk about the one bright spot is in
Herbie?
a team that scored 3 points, literally were so awful, and the Bucs' best weapon on defense is their run defense. You have Khalil Herbert out here, 18 carries and 100 yards.
looks good.
Looks really
It
good.
looks really good.
David Montgomery's supposed to be back. I think he's off the IR this week.
He should be out for 4 weeks.
Is that not 4 weeks? Am I doing the math wrong?
It might be, but I've had Khalil Herbert on my team.
Yeah. There's no reason to even
doesn't
worry.
even feel like I've missed him.
So basically, fantasy implications, that is Khalil Herbert's looks so good
Yeah.
that I think Damian Williams is going to be the odd man
Yeah,
out.
he's donezo.
The-
He's donezo.
And so I think it's going to be a Montgomery and Khalil Herbert show, which slightly hinders Montgomery
Yeah, it does.
from a fantasy perspective because Herbert's looks so good.
Yeah.
But are you still able to start Herbert?
We can't answer this right now because Montgomery is a significantly good running back, right?
Sure.
He's way better than Damian Williams.
Yeah.
So as soon as Montgomery comes back, just got to follow the money, right? Look at the paychecks. As long as you have Montgomery there, you're gonna have to start Montgomery over Herbert. The question comes up. We have to look exactly when Montgomery comes back, but we have to look at what teams they play.
Yep.
And if they're teams like the Buccaneers, no, you would start whoever the third down back is at that point. And if they're teams like the Lions, if they play the Lions, you could get by starting both of them.
Yep.
So it's just it's a matchup thing
Yeah,
at
it's
that
gonna
point.
yeah, because
more
Herbert's not going anywhere.
And we got to see usage. Like you said, Herbert, he's done enough to where you can't just automatically bench him when your running back comes back.
Like he could potentially argue for the best running back in the NFL the last 3 weeks as far as like usage and average yards per carry,
Production,
with production
matchups.
Like no matchup has mattered, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you can't bench somebody like that. Like he's produced playing against teams after teams. So yeah, it's gonna be a problem for sure. But it's gonna have to be a matchup situation.
Yeah, and he caught 5 catches, so he can clearly catch as well.
Right.
There's literally nothing right now that he can't
But
do.
they are very different types of players. Like Montgomery's a bruiser and he's a juker. Herbert's like a let me just get past you and not let me touch you guy.
Yep. And they're 3-4 now. They got the 49ers next week at home. That's a weird team. So I don't know what the Bears are going to do, but I just want to see Justin Fields have one decent week. Like I want them to have something to build off of, but right now there's been nothing. It's just been week in and week out of like eyes bleeding trying to watch this offense.
Yeah.
they're not setting him up for success, and it almost seems like maybe it was just too soon.
Yeah. And maybe Matt Nagy was right. But at this point, they didn't force him in. Dalton got hurt,
Dalton
right?
got hurt, yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's tough. Like we talked about like 3-4 weeks ago. Once you give him the starting reins, it's tough to bench him.
Right.
Like you're like
you've got Nick Foles.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can like bench him and put Nick Foles in, expecting him to come back next year and have a solid
and be like,
year.
this guy's already been thrown into the fire for 5 games. Looked arguably the worst quarterbacks ever looked 5 weeks through football.
We'll see because we'll see what happens to him, and then we'll see what happens to Trey Lance because they went down the opposite routes.
Yeah.
Trey Lance got the job, and then the coach was like, you know what? I think we have a better shot at winning with Garoppolo. I don't care if this is my young quarterback, and I know you're going to get time to develop.
Mm-hmm.
And it is probably good to get your feet wet and get you started, but our team is good enough overall that we can still win with Garoppolo versus the Bears. I don't think it would matter who's really playing. It would just help fantasy numbers here and there.
Yep.
But these wins and losses might not be that much different.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the Bucs again. The Bucs are really good. The Bucs take care of business where they need to. Tom Brady looks like he's fucking 25 years old. It's stupid. And yeah, the Bears are in shambles. So we'll see against the 49ers next week. The Bucs got a tough test. They're at the Saints. We talked about the Saints defense is no joke.
Divisional matchup
Yeah,
too.
Alvin Kamara is the real deal. So that takes us into Sunday Night Football. These primetime games, Sunday night, Monday night, were literally just rain fest. West Coast just getting hammered with that storm. You had the Colts. They were at the 49ers. Colts win this one 30-18 on the road in the rain. The Colts are now 3-4, crawling back to relevance. 49ers now dropped to 2-4. Colts cover the plus 4-point spread, plus 175 money line underdog hits outright, and the over 44 hits. Weird thing about this real quick, both starting running backs, the exact same stat line, rushing the ball.
No way.
Elijah Mitchell and Jonathan Taylor, both 18 carries, both 107 yards, and both a touchdown. So kudos to the running back. Jonathan Taylor looks fucking scary.
He didn't play that last drive. I wonder why. I don't know why.
There's been no news out on that, right? Yeah, I thought that was weird too. It was Hines.
Yeah, he just didn't play the last drive.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the offense again was in shambles for both teams just because the weather was so fucking bad.
But the guts on the Colts side to pull the trigger on so many situations.
Yep.
Like the touchdown that Pittman had, they didn't have to throw that play.
Nope, ballsy.
They could have just quickly got a first down. They went for the gutsy call, and that's why you got to be the ones kind of situations plays out here.
Yeah.
You know, it was the same team on both sides. Same team, same philosophy. Just run the ball, make passes here and then make passes here. And then in the fourth quarter, something happened, and then like the coaching staff was like, "Let's go target deep bombs."
Right. No, and the defense didn't look. The Colts defense didn't look so good at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end of the game, they stopped that 2-point conversion.
Right.
It was 20-18. Leonard, I think he gets a deflection, stops it. And then Xavier Rhodes with an interception.
Yeah,
Viking sighting, almost a pick six, but he stepped out.
Yeah, he did.
So
it was a good play.
It was
key defensive stops to make sure that you win the game. And Carson Wentz, I mean, he didn't have that great of a game, right? 150 yards, 17 completions of 26. He did have 2 touchdowns, so great there. But it was like those 3 pass interference calls?
Yeah.
The
49ers had 7 penalties for 122 yards compared to the Colts 6 for 45. And we talked about it, right? Only 150 yards passing for Wentz. Michael Pittman had 105 of those, accounting for 70% of the team's receiving yards. And then you have Deebo Samuel on the other side, had 100 yards. He accounted for 55% of the team's receiving yards. So like it was literally the running backs, one receiver.
It's the same team.
Yeah, almost identical, right? And you said the difference was the Colts defense stepped up late. I mean, 49ers are 1 of 11 on third down. You can't win if you can't extend drives. 4 turnovers. Indy only had 2. And we talked about the penalties. The rain didn't help, but I took the punts in this game. I took the over and punts because I saw the weather. The over-under was 8, and it hit.
Wow.
It hit in the punts. And
how many did we get altogether? Do you remember?
So I stopped counting after 9 because I knew the bet already hit. But what was weird about that is the first quarter, it was like 12-7. Every possession was a score. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? There's rain. There's been no punts, and it still hit. So the game definitely slowed down. I think they were overcompensating for the weather early by taking shots, and they scored. It was 12-7 first quarter, but then since then...
What a weird way to watch the game.
Punts?
Yeah.
I'm rooting for punts.
You're just rooting for punts. You get excited every time it's third and down. Fourth and down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like wanting shittiness. I'm like, this isn't good for overall football experience. For betting, I went 11-12 this week, bro. Or 11-1. 11 out of 12. So it was like...
What was the one?
What was it? It was a college football game. It was a college football game that I lost. So if I stuck to NFL, I wouldn't have lost. It was actually insane. Just a lucky week, but nonetheless, the Colts are now 3-4. Tough division game against the Titans, who are the real deal next week. So that's going to be a good battle. And then you have the 49ers. We just talked about it. They're going to be at Soldier Field taking on the Bears. And now Monday night. Monday night was another rain-infested beatdown. The Saints were at the Seahawks. The Saints coming in 4-1, win this game 13-10, or I'm sorry, 3-2. Now they're 4-2. They win 13-10. The Seahawks cover the 4.5 point spread. The under hits at 42.5. Seahawks are now 2-5, absolutely struggling. I mean, 13-10, shitty weather again. Really, really tough to watch for the eyes, especially when the only bright spot on the Saints is the one guy I'm playing against. Alvin Kamara was targeted early, often. I mean, dude, the dude had an insane game, and that was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, it was a matter of time before they started using Kamara. This whole year, they just have, like, ignored him for some reason. So it kind of, it was like good for the world of football to see that Kamara is not like dead.
Yeah.
Because we were all wondering. I was honestly wondering. I'm like, were people actually comparing this guy to a number 1 draft pick all season long? And now we see why he was compared to like being one of the top running backs.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 receptions, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 11 targets. God. I mean, PPR wise, you need those running backs to have those targets. I mean,
he only had 11 targets.
He had 11 targets.
I feel like he had like 9 targets in the first half.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it was like the Seahawks defense they were not covering him. They were playing a soft zone, and every time he would run out of the backfield, I was like, okay, nobody's covering him. And Jameis Winston is so like fidgety that he's like looking, and real quick he's just dumping it right off. And I'm like, dude, this is making my eyes bleed because the Seahawks are bad, but Kamara had 20 carries for 51 yards. That's 2.6 yards a carry. So he wasn't running the ball well, but 10 catches on 11 reception or on 11 targets is insane. That's absolutely insane. And then you talked about a show of it, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, so gets a touchdown first quarter.
On an insane 86-yard play. It was like their first or second play for their offense, right? It was like an underthrown 20-yard fade route. He jumps up, catches it. Almost could have been like offensive pass interference, honestly. I thought it was going to get called.
Yeah.
But then he just outruns everybody. You have a mammoth like that on your team.
And you don't give him the ball.
Not even targeted till the fourth quarter after that.
Yeah, I guess their game plan was just to give Alex Collins the ball, run it on the New Orleans Saints defense,
which you can't do. It was so. This is what happened. You have Geno Smith. You have the rain, right? They went up 7-0 on that touchdown. So their game plan literally became, let's try to milk as much clock as we possibly can because it's raining. We don't trust Geno Smith, and we're already winning. So their play calls for the next 3 drives was run, dump off, run, dump off, run. Because third and short, get stuffed.
Right.
And so Geno Smith he only attempted 22 passes, but it felt like they were losing the whole game.
Yeah, Alex Collins only had 35 yards rushing.
So it's not like he was effective.
Right.
But they just kind of rested on their laurels going up, and then after that, it was just throw the fucking ball, bro. You have a guy. We talk about unicorns. We talk about guys who are difference makers or physical specimens in an offense that literally is creating nothing. You have a backup quarterback. At least throw the ball up to a guy like that. Give him a shot. And again, no targets till the fourth quarter. Just disappointing overall. Jason Myers missed 2 huge field goals that could have completely changed this game. 2 times they were either going to tie or even take the lead, and he missed them. Yeah. So that was brutal. The Seahawks, it's tough, but I think they're getting some good news on Russell Wilson trajectory-wise. I think he's scheduled to be back as soon as his IR stint's up, which is crazy.
Yeah. I know. He's acting like he's playing every single game.
I know, dude.
He comes
so
out
active.
shaking people's hands. I'm like, bro, you're on the bench.
He's literally running through the entire game plan on the field with no ball, nobody there, talking out loud, speaking to ghosts. I mean, he's a different beast.
It's a little creepy, but whatever.
Yeah, shit, whatever works.
Right.
Whatever works. But yeah, I mean, the Seahawks are in trouble. They're 2-5. They do have the Jags next week, so maybe they can win that. The Saints have a tough test against the Bucs. They're not 4-2 though.
Oh my God, I just got a weird premonition the Jags are going to win that game.
Ooh, I like that.
We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully DK's a little bit more relevant, but yeah, I mean, nonetheless, sloppy Monday night game. But the Saints take this one, so now they're 4-2. They got the Bucs. That kicks it. I mean, that ends it. That's the slate of games. Ugly games, lopsided games, but a lot of implications there. Let's talk about who stood out to us. Our segment of fantasy stud and dud. Who was your stud, Shovit?
Yeah, my stud is D'Ernest Johnson.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I'm a little biased because I went and got him from the waivers. But this man, 22 attempts, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, so which is equivalent to 23.8 half-point PPR points. So you got to be happy, right? You got running backs that are injured. You need to pick somebody up. You put them in there, gives you 23.8 solid points.
Yeah.
Thank you, D'Ernest Johnson. You're a beast. You're a stud.
Didn't miss a beat. Imagine we're having to replace a running back for a guy like that, and you're like, you don't know what you're gonna get. Right. And then he comes out and does better than most of your running backs would do.
I did not sleep well that night after that.
Yeah, shit.
Bears
I mean,
lost.
playing against each other Thursday night, it's the first guy that plays, and
Right.
you're just like, shit, I got to go into
And
Sunday
I
down like
expected,
25 points.
I was expecting like 2 points or 3 points. And then it's just like 24, 23. I was like, damn.
yeah, dude, definitely deserves your stud. Who is your dud?
Yeah, my dud is gonna be Aaron Jones. All right, so Aaron Jones, you're number one running back potentially. Only 6 attempts, 19 yards. I mean, what is that? 1.9 PPR points, or 1.9 points in general. So, yeah, he's gonna get my dud this week. So, Aaron Jones.
Need more. You need
more.
more from that. Yeah. They didn't have to do too much because the Packers were just cruise control pretty much. But nonetheless, bro, feed that guy. Definitely dud worthy. Maybe he ate too many milk duds. Who knows? Shote, give us your stud and dud.
All right, so my stud is probably my most entertaining player to watch outside of the Minnesota Vikings players, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a real deal. I think once he smiles, the world's going to just explode because I don't think he'll ever smile. But yeah, I love that just attitude about him. He's there it's business. It's just straight business. He had a serious injury, comes back, leads a piss poor franchise like the Bengals, and takes down these big name teams here and there, taking down former MVP. Like, if that's not a definition of a stud, then I don't know what is. And he even had the rights to decide who he wants to draft this week, along with his this year, along with his coaches. And he was like, I need Jamar Chase. But you already have 2 other wide receivers that are really good. No, I want Jamar Chase.
And you need an offensive line to protect you because that's why you were hurt for season.
Just
I want
get me
Chase.
Jamar Chase. And here's the result of all of this.
Yep.
So, yeah, for all those reasons, just confidence out the wazoo, Joe Burrow is a stud.
Quick note on Joe Burrow. So he went to LSU, right?
Right.
You know what college turned down Joe Burrow?
Texas?
Alabama.
Wrong. Nebraska Huskers.
Oh.
They were like, we don't need Joe Burrow. Like, we got other quarterbacks that never make the league.
Oh, no. And then you got another Martinez.
Yeah, and we got fucking Adrian Martinez because that was Scott Frost's guy. Anyways, that's just crazy because a guy who literally took an LSU team and, I mean,
he's probably one of the, if not the greatest LSU
college
quarterback of all time.
Arguably college quarterback of all time. And the Huskers said no. So that's a fun fact.
Well, they're the dud
The Huskers
decision
are
of the week.
Yeah.
But okay, my dud, fantasy dud of the week is Mike Davis. Mike Davis, this was your week, bro. You're going against the Dolphins, and you got outplayed by every single person on that field. And he also got hurt a little bit, but that was later in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. But I don't even remember when that happened because you've been a dud all game long. So I stopped looking at you, gave me 1 fantasy point total. So, Mike Davis, I will never start you again. You are now a dud.
Hell yeah, Mike Davis. Eat those milk duds, baby. My stud, and this is funny because I'm piggybacking off of your stud. Just like they got that connection, we got that connection. I got Jamar Chase as my stud. 8 catches, 201 yards, and a touchdown. 30.1 half-point PPR points. Second overall, second in receivers. The dude's fucking so good. Joe Burrow had him and Justin Jefferson at LSU. It still blows my fucking mind. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Wow.
Like, that's insane.
Wild.
That's wild. And he can't be stopped. Marlon Humphreys, he made him look like a rag doll. Slants, outs, bombs, everything. Jamar Chase is there. He catches it. Burrow trusts him. That's the biggest thing for Joe Burrow. You want that guy. You get that guy. You take risks with that guy because you trust that guy, right? When you have a clear cut, sometimes you take risks. That's okay. If he's one-on-one and he's not completely open, you throw the ball up because it's Jamar Chase and you trust him, right? That's what you're supposed to do with the number one receiver. And he's proven everything and more. He's the real deal. He is, again, the definition of stud. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase seems like they're going to wreak havoc in this league for years and years to come. Arpan Dixit is going to be freaking swimming with happiness.
The Bengals fan.
Arpan's Bengals.
Yeah, Arpan's Bengals, man, finally being relevant. So that's got to be exciting. He's my stud. My dud. Tough to do it, but I had to do it. Patty Mahomes is my dud. The Titans defense came in being extremely vulnerable, right? We all talked about their inefficiencies. They'd been outscoring teams and putting up reckless amounts of offensive numbers to win games. And the Chiefs offense puts up 3 points. Patty's got 7.76 fantasy points from a quarterback that most people draft like first round, second round, like too soon, too early. Had an interception, had a fumble lost. I mean, even if you're not winning the game, even if your team is in disarray, like a guy like Jalen Hurts, right? Team sucks. Team's in disarray. He's still consistently putting up 25 fantasy points.
Yeah, when Derrick Henry has more fantasy points passing than you do,
Dude,
I think more touchdowns at least.
Yeah, Derrick Henry threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, and
no Patty did not against the Titans defense. That's dud worthy, man. Right. Patty, the expectations are through the roof for you and warranted because you're a transcendent talent. You got to be better. You're my dud. So that's going to be short-lived, obviously, for his dudness, I'm sure.
Is it going to be short-lived?
Shit, I don't know, man. That's
what if this most worst contract in NFL history.
God. They got him for like 10 years. They got like weird incentives in there. He like owns a team or some shit.
Well, there was a stunt where like Aaron Rodgers kind of went through this as well after he won the Super Bowl. So maybe it's just one of those things that like
post Super Bowl.
Was that the relax year? Was that the year where they lost a lot?
Week
He was
6.
like,
they were like relax.
And then they came back and it was amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So he could be going through that same sort of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It looks really bad because it's not just him. It looks like the whole team sucks. So they need to figure something out because relaxing's not the answer here. They need to do something about this.
Yeah, they need to take some uppers because they do not need to be relaxing. Patty, you're my dud for the week. That wraps up Stud and Dud. Let's end the episode on waivers. Important topic. Who do we pick up this week? Who's important for guys in more bye weeks? Again, you talked about it. It's bye week galore to like week 14. People are going to need to find guys off the streets. Who do we like?
Yeah, I've got 3 guys on my list here. I've got Kadarius Toney. He is 59% percentage owned in ESPN and Yahoo Sports. So he's probably a guy that you can probably get. I definitely like my chances. If Daniel Jones is doing solid and throwing the ball out like he should, then Kadarius Toney, we've seen him look good, should get the ball.
Yeah, and one thing to note on that, the reason I feel like he's free agents is you and me, and I feel like a lot of people, because bye week started last week and he was doubtful, he was like a fringe guy that you were forced to drop to play a guy. So he's out there. He's definitely out there. You probably got to claim him, but he's definitely worth a waiver pick if he is out there and healthy.
Yeah. Second guy we've got on here is Carson Wentz. Definitely someone that you want to stream as a QB option. And then last but not least, we got Kenneth Gainwell. So Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders is hurt, so he could be a good person to fill that role.
Mainly because they like him on third downs to catch passes. Yep. So he might not be doing the bruising early on, but they're not doing much bruising people running the ball anyways. So if you want one guy on that roster, you're either banking on Bart Scott. Boston Scott. Yeah. You're either banking on Boston Scott to roll his fat ass into the end zone, or you're banking on 7 catches by Gainwell.
Oh my god!
The chances I like. Oh my god! The chances I like are Gainwell catching those passes.
Yeah, and then obviously some other guys we talked about it. Daniel Jones. You got quarterbacks going to be on bye weeks, so there's Daniel Jones gets to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense sucks. The Chiefs defense sucks.
It does.
So Daniel Jones could be a viable option. We talked about Carson Wentz. Kirk Cousins is still a fucking free agent, like 40, only owned in 40% of leagues.
Bye week fill-in, why not?
Yeah, bye week fill-in. You talked about Gainwell. We talked about the Packers receivers.
Yes.
Right? So
none of them.
I mean, if they're all out, someone's going to have to catch passes.
Yeah.
He likes Randall Cobb. Still got that camaraderie, that fucking connection.
Cobb, yeah,
it's going
to be a high-scoring game, right? Packers defense is okay. Actually, Packers defense is pretty good. They don't really allow more than 20 points to many teams. I think they've only allowed 20 or more, like maybe twice all year. So yeah, they're a pretty good team. I don't know if they can keep up with the Cardinals. But yeah, I still expect it to be a high-scoring game because the Cardinals score over 30 points at will. So yeah.
Someone's going to have to catch passes.
Someone's going to score passes. Tanyan could be a good
Tanyan could be a
nice
big play.
Don't forget about Ricky Seals-Jones when you pick up players. We've been recommending him for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's still only 51% owned, so you guys aren't listening. Please listen because you only have 1 week to do this. They play Denver next. He probably will catch another touchdown or give you 10 points fantasy regardless of however he does it because after that, it's going to be Logan Thomas time again. So, yeah, those are your pickups of the week.
Yep.
The rest will be as soon as we find out about them on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We will be putting them on our Twitters and on our next episode. So stay tuned.
Yep, absolutely. Anything? Closing thoughts, remarks, concerns, questions?
Yeah. Adam Thielen will score a touchdown in the end zone.
Damn. In the end zone? Where else will he score a touchdown?
Not in the end zone.
I like that. So let's end every episode with a prediction this week. So you think Adam Thielen scores a touchdown? Your prediction. And that's Sunday Night Football, the Vikings and the Cowboys. Holy shit, we got that episode on Thursday that we're going to preview everything. But give me your bold prediction for this week.
Wow. Okay, so
putting you on the spot.
You're putting me on the spot.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about.
You've been talking about Rondale Moore not doing well. I'm going to say Rondale Moore gets a touchdown.
Damn. All right, on Thursday night, baby. Yeah. Against the Packers. I like that. And my bold prediction is the Detroit Lions are going to get their first win against the Eagles this week. People are going to look at the Eagles as a defense streaming option.
My prediction is not even that bold anymore after listening to you guys' bold predictions.
It's fine, man. They got Justin Jefferson over there. They're playing the Cowboys. That could still be bold. But yeah, I don't know. I know people are probably going to contemplate picking up the Eagles as a streaming option for defense because they're playing the Lions.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
It might be a trap. Who knows? But again, that's my prediction. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're the Only Playbook. That was episode 14, week 7 review, not preview, review. We're going to be back on Thursday this week again. Friday, I'm out of town, New York City, visiting my girlfriend. So we're going to record our episode of week 8 preview on Thursday. So tune in. Thank you so much. Again, we're the Only Playbook. We'll see you on Thursday.